Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing great tonight. I decided to just go live rather than setting up a video and then coming back and watching it and chatting with you guys at the same time. So, um, thought I would just do both of them together. We are on part 21, and it's actually the third part of a video that we have been watching with Smiley, Storey, and Chris and Katie. This has been a pretty interesting video. It's always fun to go back and re-listen again, because it seems like you always glean more, right? And that's what's happening as we go along. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen with you guys and get started right away. Because I don't know how long this is going to last. I think we may have to do one more yet after this one as well. So let's go ahead and get started.
Maybe how y'all met and how long did y'all, I don't know, I don't know. This is the first time I'm hearing about Rachel because I haven't dug in that deep into anything. I don't know. Like, how long was y'all married maybe, and how was your relationship? Do y'all have any kids? I don't know.
No. I have one biological child in this world. One. That was my fourth wife.
Okay.
The story with Rachel is real simple. We met. We were all friends. We shared an apartment together. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And somehow or another, we wound up starting a relationship. Like, things just happened. I mean, whatever. So we got married. And Rachel took a job where she was working down in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, as a civilian. And while she was down in Guantanamo Bay, I guess promiscuity got the best of her, and she decided to be unfaithful. We ended that relationship. She went back to Cuba. You know, I packed up the house. I put all her stuff in a storage unit. Gave one of her friends that lived in the area the key. Told her the combo. Set up the payment plan for her. Everything like that. You know, as far as I know, she lives, I think it's in New Orleans now. And I think she just had a second child. So she's got a little boy and I think a little girl now.
Were you part of any of the stepchildren's lives there in your other marriages?
Yes, my fourth wife, Nina, she has 2 children. Those children's names, don't even ask them. I'm not telling you because
no,
I don't want people digging into that. They don't need to be. Those kids are not being dragged into that.
Yeah.
Yes, I was very much involved during the marriage while her and I were together with the kids' lives. It was a rough marriage. I mean, from the word go, Nina and I both knew we probably should have never got married. But we did, you know. But I mean, still to this day, like I said, when things are good, I don't have a problem talking with the other 2 kids at all. You know, occasionally I see them in FaceTime videos when I'm talking with my daughter.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not. You know, they're good kids. They really are.
So did Sebastian have any friends that he ever brought over to the house, like that y'all allowed, like, and it could be like I heard Katie say somewhere too, maybe it was in one of the Facebook groups, but it was in writing. I didn't really hear her say it, but she wrote it down that she had other, or maybe it was in an interview, I don't know. Like, he had other friends, or you had other friends, Katie, with children like him that had autism. So, did you ever have play dates? I guess is the right word. Where you try to get him together with other children like that, or maybe that was invited over to your house, or can you give me a day like what it was like for him around other children, somebody outside the family?
So Sebastian struggles with maintaining friendships with a lot of the children his age because even with the children that are similar, they tend to have different interests. Sebastian gets very
He
like
doesn't. He
mind tracked. Like if he's
yes,
wanting to talk about like Minecraft, then he wants you to be 100% all about the Minecraft. And so a lot of times, like other children will be like, "Yeah, that's cool, but I want to do this," and he'll be. And so they wind up getting frustrated with each other, and that's where a lot of his like struggles making friends come into play, is
in personal
because
space. Personal space.
yeah, personal space is also another part of it where he disregards like what we call the personal bubble,
Mhm.
just because he just doesn't have that awareness. Like he'll just be right here in your face. um,
So I guess I don't understand. They keep asking this question over and over and over again. I don't know if they're not listening to other interviewers, but they keep asking about Sebastian having friends, right? And and I understand they're thinking, well, maybe he went with a friend or something, but I can't forget the fact that there is no evidence that he actually physically walked out the door of that house. Okay. So, you know, but I think every person that's interviewed, the parents, any of the parents, has asked that same question, and they've all said the same thing, that Sebastian had trouble making friends. Katie did explain it a little bit better here. She said, Sebastian would be focused in one specific area, and if they didn't go that direction with him, then everybody got frustrated. And, I could see that, you know, so that would make it difficult for him to have friends. But I, as someone just listening over again, I can understand how all three parents get frustrated doing these interviews because they're being asked the same questions over and over and over again. Now we have heard different things, right? But this is one question that's been asked that not one of the parents has deviated from. It's always the same answer. Sebastian had trouble making friends. And I just want to say hello to Beverly. And are you from Wisconsin, Beverly? It looks like you got a Green Bay Packer thing. Um, I live in Wisconsin, but I'm a Bears fan. Don't hate me. I was born in Illinois. Scranton Strangler, yes. Isn't it the truth? It's always somebody else's fault. All right. Feel free to put your thoughts and your opinions in chat. I don't have a problem, even if you disagree with me, guys. Not at all. So let's continue on.
but he's capable of getting along with other kids. I mean, and he does, but typically for shorter periods of time. Um, at school, he does pretty well with a lot of the kids, but even that, they have to take breaks, because not him, but not just him, but even the other kids, they each have their unique interests and their unique ways of thinking and doing things, and so they get to each other and they have fun, and then something will happen and one or both will get frustrated, and so they got to time out and whatnot. Um, you know, we have met some kids, especially like because I like to take them out and go do things, especially in like public settings like the festivals and bowling and stuff like that, to get them out and get them, you know, it gives an opportunity to interact and work on those like kind of
Yes.
social skills and meeting people and being appropriate when meeting people, responding, you know, with appropriate emotions and stances, you know, like if someone's being polite and says hello to you, to match that energy and not come at a different energy, you know. And we have like a scale that we work on, you know, like what is the problem that's frustrating you, you know, is it like a 0, 1, 2, 3, and then okay, well, what's your response to that, you know, type thing. So yes, he has interact and does interact with other children and people, but he struggles to form those like stronger bonds with people.
Hmm. Was he starting to notice girls yet?
I think so, although he's in denial. He don't
Yeah,
want to tell mama that he likes girls.
yeah. Um, were y'all a part of a church or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yes. So we attend. So hold on.
We attend
Yes, we
church.
yes we do attend church. Now, are we tied to one particular church more so than others? Probably not. But if we go, we tend to frequent the one called Freedom Church. It's up in Gallatin, Tennessee.
Hmm. Is that, did Sebastian like that? Did he like to go and,
Yeah, when he was
He
in church, so the kids area, oh my God. Um,
they've got a phenomenal youth program.
yeah, I bet he liked to sing and stuff like that, right?
He likes to
Like,
dance.
dance.
yeah, dance.
I mean, now gr-
He
granted,
he
what you call dancing, what I call dancing, and what he calls dancing, totally different.
he's definitely got a unique rhythm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but he loves to dance.
yeah. And that makes me think, I mean, just the music he said he liked Eye of the Tiger and different things. I mean, oh, it just makes me smile. I just want I want them to find him. I mean, and I know you do too. It's just, we got to ask these questions and we got to look and search.
Man, just the thought of Sebastian dancing and, that smile of his just warms my heart, you know, just warms my heart. Um, I know that, she's saying we've got to ask these questions, you know. Um, but I said it in another video, and I'm going to say it again, that I think we were talking about polygraphs, and there have been comments on whether he, you know, whether any of the parents took polygraphs, and whether they were interviewed separately, because Chris and Katie do have a habit of being together in an interview like this. But I have to, and Chris does most of the talking most of the time, which he has done here, but Katie's done a little bit more here, which, I'm surprised at. Um, but I'm just gonna say that, we can't, we're not gonna get anything out of Chris and Katie that they don't want to say. Any creator, it doesn't matter who you are. I don't even, she's not going to talk to Dog. They already, I guess Dog reached out, and they won't have anything to do with them. Um, the only one she'll talk to is law enforcement, because she has to. So, we're not going to get it out of them. We can ask all the questions we want, and we can keep repeating all these questions, but she's not going to tell us anything, guys. She's just not. And even if she would try, I don't think that Chris would let her, in my opinion, my strong opinion. Scranton Strangler said, "What's your thoughts, Granny? Do you think they are guilty of doing something to him?" You know, I don't know. Honestly, I go back and forth. Um, I shouldn't say I go back and forth, but I I have questions as well. Okay, so I think that according to them, Katie is the last person that saw him. Okay, we know that there's no evidence of him walking out of that home. So Katie has to have some answers, some kind of answers. I don't know if you guys saw the video that I did earlier about in Oregon. So, that one, it's on Church Road. And remember that Chris had said to Seth, if you're going to find Sebastian, you need to go to church. Well, and then there's a woman who stated that she's talked to, she is, very, very sure, very certain that she talked to Chris and Katie Proudfoot in Oregon at that ponds, at that pond. I can't remember the name of it now. Just, of course, it goes from my mind as I'm doing it live, right? I just did it a couple hours ago. But yeah, so there's that. Then there's that 27.27 miles. I know Silver's on the Scene is looking into that. There's so many avenues, and to look at. And I guess my big thing is, are they doing anything in Oregon? Are they searching over there? Are they looking? I mean, we don't know if anybody's looking over there or not. I know Silver's on the Scene is looking at the 27.27 miles near Westmoreland. But it's almost like looking for a needle in a haystack without any real credible information, right? And I'm just I think the only answer is prayer. Honestly, I think that God and Katie knows where Sebastian is, and so whether it was an accident, because remember that Sebastian had that syndrome where if he hits his head too hard, he could actually die. Whether it was an accident, I'm thinking the thud, that flashlight video, those two things are key in this case. So we can look, and we can speculate, but that's all we can do, right? Other than pray. And yeah, Scranton says, I watched Silver's on the Scene today, the 27.27. He found a Samsung phone, but not much more. And yeah, I watched that today as well. And yes, if they haven't slipped yet, they are serious about keeping it hushed. I agree. My opinion, I agree. I think that enough time has gone by, and it's probably easier to keep things quieter, to live with a lie if that's the case, And again, remember, guys, everything that I'm saying is in my own opinion. I would hate to think that a parent could do something to a child. My only hope is that if something did accidental happen and it's been covered up, I feel bad because that, covering up things is never the answer. I don't know if anybody on here is a Christian, but I am a Christian. I firmly believe The Bible says, be sure your sin will find you out. Okay. I'm not trying to preach to anybody, but I'm just saying it does come to light sooner or later. It's true. Just does. Um, yeah, I pray that that phone brings some answers too, but we don't know. Remember that Sebastian's phone was at home. So whose phone is it? Is it even anything to do with Sebastian? I don't know. But let's continue on.
Somebody was saying on the Nancy Grace today, and then, by the way, is there any reason why y'all didn't go on that show today too?
We were not invited.
We didn't know about it until after.
Okay, because that's what I heard. Yes, they said that he did throw tantrums. They did say that. But okay, so there was a guy on there that said, and I'm sure y'all watched it, that said everything needs to be re-looked at, researched, but everything needs to be spread out more areas, you know.
We've been pushing to spread the search because with the amount of people that we've searched with and had search, and all the volunteers and all the law enforcement with the area that they searched for so long, we feel like if he was that close to home, we should have been able to find him. And so we've been searching out farther than just like within the 5 mile radius, but we've been pushing out and we've been searching farther away from the house, looking for any signs and posting those signs all the way to the state line and then some, in all directions.
Now, did you like somebody thinks that well, not somebody, people think that y'all have not been doing the flyers. I mean, but y'all have been doing the flyers, is that correct?
Absolutely, we have.
You absolutely have. Okay.
So let me help some people with some information about things. When it comes to searching,
Okay, so he said, let me help some people with some things. Okay, this interview was on the 20th of March. And they said that they've been putting out flyers and all this other stuff. And remember, back in the beginning, I don't know if you guys remember this, but you never saw Chris and Katie anywhere, right? Well, why is that? Were they in Oregon? Right? Were they in Oregon? Remember, 2 days to get out there, 2 days to get back, however long they were there. Were they in Oregon? Well, you're not passing out flyers in Oregon. Nobody can tell me that a couple weeks after Sebastian disappeared that they were putting out flyers in Oregon. Nobody can tell me that. Nobody could tell me that. I'm sorry, that's my opinion.
flyers, those signs that people have taken pictures and posted on Facebook that say missing, the yard signs,
Yes.
those came from us.
They
My
came.
mother is a real estate agent. We've got some friends in the business that can help do things, and my mother was able to get the signs for us. So the signs have been distributed between me and Katie and my mother. We've got some really great friends in the family. We got a great community who we have handed signs out to, and they have gone out and placed them. Flyers, we've had, I can't tell you the amount of support that the community has put together as far as helping us with these flyers. We go to make copies of a flyer somewhere, and we asked them, said, look, I just need to know how much it's going to be for this many. And bless everybody that has done this, because a lot of people will only have us pay for 100 of them, but they'll give us 500 of them.
Mm-hmm.
We've got people in the community that when they hear it, they're like, no, we're paying for that, not y'all, we are. I'm like, no, I appreciate it. I really do. If anything, we'd like to give you some, you can pass them out, whatever. So it's been out there. There's billboards across this entire state I can tell you personally, from Memphis, Tennessee, all the way to Nashville, going down 40, between 240 and I-40, there's at least 7 billboards that were out there posting Sebastian. There was some in Rivergate, some in Madison. There's some out toward Knoxville. I mean, the reach that we have gotten put out there, we've gotten a company that will have in Spanish and in French.
Oh,
The
that needs to be
flyers
done.
are
Mhm.
being pushed all the way up into Canada.
Mhm.
I mean, we're reaching out. We've got great family and friends and blessed people out there. Like I said, if we've never meet you, and I am sorry, I wish we could. I wish we could shake everybody's hand and give everybody a hug, regardless of how you feel or what you think. But the fact that you keep his name in the public view alone, we can't thank you enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I tell everybody every day, look, I don't care who does it. If I see it, you might see on my community page, everybody's shared 100 billion times. I just want his name and face out there too. And whew, it's a lot. I seriously I have a lot of passion for these cases, the ones that I choose to do. I really do. I'm not big. I grew up, I was born and raised right there in Nashville. I have family right down from y'all. And I have a teacher over at Beach High School. And, it means a lot to me, this case right here. And it touches my heart for so many different reasons. And, it makes me want to cry right now. It does. You have a beautiful son and a handsome son, a stepson, son, whatever you want to call it, Katie. And, it breaks my heart. It does. I can't tell you. I'm nobody special. I just get on here and I know how to use my mouth, and I think outside the box. And I will keep his name and everything out.
Well, if you don't mind me, so I don't know how to say this any other way, and please forgive me because it's going to sound like a jerk.
Say it.
It's going to sound very jerkish, but I don't want softball questions. People wanted to ask me the hard questions. By golly, let's get these hard questions out. Sorry, but I just.
Well, let me start. Okay. Have you ever had CPS called on you before?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't have to go into it elaborate or anything like that. That was the question that I had. And that happens, sometimes, especially when you have a child who is, has special needs and stuff. That's hard.
I've had it. Well, I'll be honest with you. I've had CPS called on me in 2 states, New Mexico and Tennessee.
And did that include with Sebastian?
Tennessee was Sebastian, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And in fact, Sebastian here, like I said, I got nothing to hide. So Sebastian went to school one day because we were at the house. He got in trouble. He didn't have a belt on. I was like, "Where's your belt?" And got it. Whack. Kind of got him. So he goes to school and he tells the teacher. They're mandatory reporters. So the teacher reports it.
Mm-hmm.
That afternoon, CPS shows up to the house while we're actually sitting down to eat dinner. Now, mind you, 15-year-old child, he's not real happy because he's in trouble, so he's being punished. So he shows, he makes a report. They come to the house, and the lady who comes to the house is the same lady we've had. She's had a case before. Now, the case that was before was something that didn't even happen, and
This particular story really kind of makes me angry. First of all, I never used a belt on my children. I did get the belt when I was little. A couple of times. My parents felt that was okay. Well, I didn't do that with my children, and I think every generation gets a little bit better, right? but I don't, here's the thing. Even if I thought a belt was okay, which I don't, Sebastian's autistic. When there's a learning problem, you can't use the same methods. You, I just, that just makes me angry. Secondly, I don't believe his story about CPS coming and saying, Sebastian, you lied, blah, 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 because we know that recently Seth has come out and said he has CPS reports and he's not going to show them. I've said that before. But because I don't think he can legally, guys. But, he has said that they don't belong being parents. So what is in those CPS reports? So I don't believe what Chris is trying to tell us here right now. I'm sorry, I just don't. That's my opinion. I think he's lying. That's my thoughts on that. So Grant says that story makes no sense. It's right. Yeah. Yeah, Nina did say that, didn't she? Ugh. All right, let's continue on.
It's like three stories that were shoved into one, and when they finally got it debunked, they were like, "Oh, he got so mixed up in telling one story, it mixed into three, and it caused a commotion." Well, they canceled that out. So the one on me, she shows up, and I said, "Hey, how you doing? It's her again." She's like, "Oh, hey." She's, "Hey, I already don't." She's like, "Don't tell me anything, but I'm gonna tell you what I know happened." And I said, "Okay." She goes, "Blah blah blah." She told me exactly what happened. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "Oh my God." I said, "Yes, ma'am. This is how it's been." Sebastian thought by telling on me, making it sound like I was so horrible.
Oh, you cut out. You cut out just a minute.
Oh, he cut out right
You
at the
cut
right
out.
time.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
That I was going to get in trouble over something stupid. And I was like, "No, Sebastian, you got punished, man. You got punished." And he was like, but. And I was like, "You got punished." And the lady took him outside. She goes, "Sebastian, just because you get in trouble and you get punished, you need to understand when you go and you say things about people and you lie and you fabricate things and you make it sound worse than what it is, sir, you can get in trouble for that." So that happened.
So maybe, I'm sorry, but maybe Chris needs to take his own advice or CPS's advice. You cannot lie, right? Uh, um, Robin, you mentioned that you haven't seen the yard sign. Are you from there? Are you from Hendersonville? Just curious. I lived in Portland for a couple of years. I didn't realize how bad Tennessee is for missing children. Gotta tell you, that's. But yeah. Oh, I bet. Um. All right, let's continue on.
And the lady was like, "I am so sorry." And I said, "No, he's just a child. He's upset. It is what it is. I'm okay with it."
Mm-hmm.
He sat that back down at the dinner table and was like, "See, eat your food." And we went back and everything's been fine.
Yeah. That girl wants to know what was he wearing when they went to dinner. Maybe he returned if it was his favorite place, I guess, to the restaurant. Katie, you remember?
We may have lost her.
Oh, um,
Um,
I don't know. Yeah, she's been going in and out. Okay, we'll save that. I'll just leave it up there so I don't forget or whatever. Was there a life insurance policy on him? I know people's been wanting to ask that. I just get that out of the way. Not that that's any of our business, but I guess if it has to do with him missing, that's why they want to know. It's just a simple yes or no. We don't have to go into whatever. And that could be for if you know whether he's got it from his real dad, you, or anybody. I'm just saying, does anybody know if there's one floating around out there anywhere?
His father has one on him.
Okay, that's good enough. Now, Chris just dropped off again. Let me see if I can put this back in here. Sorry. And he may be back too. Let's see. Paste. I'm sorry, I have to do it like this.
Y'all, for clarification, no, I did not allow him to beat my son with a belt. He did not beat my son with a belt.
Okay. Josh wants to call in real fast. Let's see. Hold on a minute. Okay, hold on. Just call. Okay. Josh wants to call in real fast. He's been wanting to ask y'all a question, and I guess he can't get me to see it or something. So I just told him to call real fast if that's okay.
What
He
is the
texted me,
difference
and
between
I just happened to see
hitting
it,
with a
if that's
belt
okay.
and beating with a belt?
And
Is what I
nobody
want to know.
take this. I'm trying to get this link back out. So Chris, what kind of stuff? Oh no, and he's done. Oh. He's probably going crazy. I put the wrong phone number in there. Anyway, oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. He's like, he's going to come up here just a second. Josh, sorry, I put the wrong phone. I put the wrong number in there.
Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah, I put the wrong number in there. So,
Okay. Is Chris still here?
No, can
he
you drop the
fell down.
link again?
He fell down, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. When I was talking to Chris earlier, and him and I were messaging, and I asked him about DCS, and he said the only case that DCS has open is
Here he
because
goes.
Sebastian ran away.
okay,
Yeah,
sorry
That's
about that.
true.
Hey, Chris, Josh was going to
Yes,
call
ma'am.
in. I accidentally punched a 3 instead of a 2 or whatever, and he jumped up here on
That's
panel.
fine.
And, he wanted to ask you something, actually. Sorry.
Far away, man.
Well, so you and I we had messaged earlier on Facebook, and I'd asked you about DCS, and you said that there were no other interactions with CPS or DCS except for Sebastian going missing, which I then told you, but that's not mandatory necessarily unless CPS was already involved. So
Now,
you're
hold
not
on.
really being honest.
Wait a minute. You asked me, because I'll read the messages to everybody in God and Country. You asked me if there was an active CPS case on Sebastian. That's what you asked. And I told you, yes, there was. Because the sheriff's department told us that they had to report it because he was missing. That's what you asked. Now, you also started to ask if there was another case. And there was no other case that I know of that's active. That's what you asked.
Wow. Um, must have been another one I either fell asleep in or clicked out of because it was so long. So, what do you guys think about that? Um, Josh confronted him and told him right out that he lied. That's interesting. But I mean, now 8 months later, we do know that there were CPS cases. So
Josh?
Yeah, I'm here.
So, like I said, sir, I'm brash. I'm to the point. Be respectful.
Can you hear
And
me?
I will tell you, and I'll be honest, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I got lied.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, he said, okay. Can you hear him, Josh?
I can hear him. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Well, I just said, well, in the messages that I asked that it was pertaining to Sebastian's school, right? Like you just said. And you said, no, other than him going missing, no CPS cases. I don't know. I can't hear. Maybe that.
He didn't say anything. Can you hear him, Chris? Can you hear
Hello?
him?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can now. I can now.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you didn't ask, you asked about active cases. That's what you asked about. And I answered your question.
You did. You answered my question.
Hello? Hello?
He said you answered his question. I can hear you. Can you hear him, Josh?
Okay. Yeah, I can't hear him.
Okay. Can y'all
So,
now? I think
so
it's
he's asked me, and I can't pull it up because if I pull it up, then we lose contact. But he asked me if there was active DCH, CPS, whatever you want to call it, case with Sebastian. And I said, yes, he's missing. I was told by the sheriff's department that they had to report it. So yes, there's an active case. Is there anything other than that? No, there's not an active case. So my statement that I told you is true.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I get it, the active investigation, but yeah, but you did really. Maybe it's just because of text, but you did make it seem like there was no, like that this was the first time that they'd ever been involved at all.
No, I didn't insinuate. Now understand something. Words on paper are simply words on paper. Whatever emotions you put behind them is directly proportionate to yourself, not me.
Oh, sir, I didn't put any emotion behind it. I'm just
Well,
saying.
but you're trying to insinuate on this show.
No,
Yes, you did, sir. Yes, because you just stated that you said that I made it sound like this. No, I didn't.
oh my gosh. You couldn't have said it better, Scranton. Spin it, CP spin it. And that's exactly what he's doing. It's exactly what he's doing. He likes to spin things. He tells just enough. It's like, I don't know if you guys remember back in that interview where he was asked point blank, did all three of you take polygraphs? And he said, polygraphs were passed. And then they said, did all three of you? And he said, yes. And then later on in that interview, he had to backtrack, you know, and he really didn't tell the entire truth until he was on with Nancy Grace. And that's still coming yet. It's after this interview. So we'll be watching that as well. But that's the first time that with Nancy Grace that he actually told the truth about the polygraph. So, you know, that Chris has wondered why people have been so negative toward him. Well, it's because of the way he gets in people's face. how he's so argumentative and defensive right from the get-go. And I'm sorry, you can't be brash and respectful at the same time. It's not possible. So he's only brash. There's no respect there. That's my opinion. Um, Scranton said, do you think that they will ever be charged with anything? Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, when you look at the flashlight video, obviously something went on there, right? And when you look at that video, if you go back and look at that video that I did, I bring up the fact that, even if law enforcement is looking into it, they need the license plate of the car, or they need a witness, or a good ring camera showing the license plate or the vehicle or something to tie them to it. You can't, it's hard to charge them with anything when there's no evidence. You have to have something, right? It's kind of like right now that the Suzanne Smith case, or Suzanne Simpson case. Same thing. Her husband is in jail for other things, and he's her number one suspect for her disappearance, but, they have no evidence yet. So, yeah, I don't know, but we don't know what law enforcement's got either. And they can't bring charges until they have enough that will stick in a court of law. So hopefully, prayerfully, someday. Let's continue on.
I told you, I gave you a direct statement, gave you your answer, and that right there is exactly what I'm talking about. Then you called into the show and you said, no, you're lying. No, I'm not lying. So call a spade, but make sure you're right. Now, to be honest with you, it has nothing to do with finding my son.
You don't think that you don't think, okay. All right. Well, look, man.
How does CPS have to do with anything finding Sebastian? Because if you're insinuating something,
well, you said they opened up an investigation. You said they opened up an investigation. So you tell me what it has to do with him.
Because what did I tell you? That's what you're not listening. The sheriff's department told us that they are required to report it to DCS, CPS, whatever you want to call them. They are required to report it to them. Mm-hmm. That answer has yet to change. It hasn't changed any of the slightest.
And okay, so that's okay, I get it. So it's the only open investigation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's the next hard one we got? Fire away.
Okay.
I'm not arguing.
Okay. So I was just wondering, Katie, let me ask you this, or anybody can answer. So if y'all were at home alone, because Chris works out of town a lot, and I just wonder, would Sebastian know what to do if there was a house fire? If it was just you and him, does he know how to handle all that kind of emergency stuff?
We have gone over it with him several times, talked about what to do in case of an emergency, calling 911, run into a neighbor's house to ask for help, known friendly neighbors, how to get out, if a door is blocked and that type of thing. So yes, he should, assuming that he, is able to think in a, sorry, I'm losing my word, in a panic, if there's an emergency happening. But yes, we have safety plans that we've gone over as far as getting out of the house in case of fire, and how to get a hold of someone in an emergency.
Okay. So if there was an emergency, would he run out of the house like that barefoot? Or would he throw on his slippers, do you think, because they're by the front door?
Honestly, it could go either way. I know his dad said that he hasn't seen him go outside without shoes on since he was 2. But I, however, have had a different experience with Sebastian where he does go outside without his shoes on. Um, there's been several times where he takes the trash out in his socks, and I'm like, dude, you got to put shoes on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
um, but I would say honestly, it would just depend, I think, on the situation.
yeah. So you have a padlock? Is that what you said earlier? That you have a padlock on the, like I forget what they're called, but where you put the code in, a code lock.
Yeah, not a padlock.
I meant, yeah, I didn't mean a padlock. I'm sorry. The code where you put the code
Yeah,
in.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So would he turn around if he left and actually put that code in? Do you have to put the code in to lock it back? Is
He
that
locks the Yeah, he locks the door behind himself every time he goes out it.
okay? All right. I'm just trying to think. Is there anybody like I mean, I don't know if y'all have housekeepers or what. Like, is there anybody you could think of? And I know I'm sure you gave it to the police that might have had the combination that could have come in like while you were asleep that the dogs would not be alerted to or anything like that.
The only people that would have access to my house have all been interviewed.
Okay. Oh man. I don't know.
And not only that, but if somebody had been by the front door, punched in the code, believe it or not, no, it's not super clear, but you would have seen a shadow or a figure
Yeah, that's what I would think.
based on, something would have been visible because one of the lights is still visible from that Ring camera from across the street.
Yeah.
That has been, like I said, every video, and I've said this through Facebook, everything in the neighborhood. I I couldn't talk to you enough positive about my neighborhood because anybody had cameras voluntarily gave up hard drives, flash drives, access to clouds for them. They've let people go in and search their houses multiple times without needing a warrant or a subpoena or anything. They've just openly done it. So I mean, that's why it's so difficult right now.
Yeah. Now they come out and
So he talks about how good his neighborhood is, but yet there have been neighbors that have come out and stated that Chris was angry and rude with them. But yet he's thankful that they all turned in their video cameras and let him search their homes, right? Wow.
and I know this is part of the investigation, so you may not can answer this, but I mean, it was public because we saw them. We saw them with our own eyes. So they come out about 11 times counting the backyard where they took pictures. Okay, so did they come in and check as well the 11 times, or did they do forensics like a luminol or anything like that?
No.
Just asking.
No. I can answer. No, they haven't done that. We actually, Katie and I sat down at our table in our dining room, and that's basically where everything conducts itself. We sat down with them in the dining room, and I asked them flat out, I was like, what about fingerprints?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can we not take fingerprints? What can we do? Can we check this? Can we check that? And they said no, and they explained why fingerprinting would not necessarily be where they would get a hit, was ridges and things like that compromise the fingerprint.
Yeah.
Now, and he goes, despite TV and the movies, that stuff you see is not necessarily true. I was like, okay, well, that's cool. I just, they said, think of anything. Well, we were thinking and asked them, how about this? And how about that? What about this? What about that? And we got shot down.
Yeah. So, is there or is there not a couch in front of the back door?
No, there is a couch in front of a door.
In front of a door. Okay. I was just wondering. So, but so can he get out the back? Okay, so he can go
Is
out.
there an exit out the back of the house? Yes. That's unobscured from anything? Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, but what I'm asking is, how did you know that he went specifically out the front door? What made you think that? What made you think that?
We presume that he left out the front door. We never know 100%, obviously, but we presume based off of process of elimination, going over it with law enforcement, going over the house, where things are, how things are, Sebastian's routine, and the fact that that's the door that he always uses or prefers to use, because I won't say 100% of the time he does come in with me through another door, but that's the door Sebastian prominently uses. That's the one that he, if he were going to sneak out of the house or leave the house for whatever reason, that's the most reasonable door that he would have left out of. Any of the others would have made noise or not
Or would not
been,
have been locked.
mhm,
So
because
the back door would not lock.
from the outside, like the front, no. You'd have to have the key.
So I'm not going to describe every door lock in our house to
No, I
y'all personally.
understand that.
That's a safety thing.
Yeah, I
But
understand that. Don't do that.
yeah, but what I can say is there's only two doors.
Okay, so I guess I'm not really sure about that. You know, if you have the only way he would have needed a key on that back door would be if it was a deadbolt, right? Because if the lock was in the handle, when he opened the door, he could have turned the lock in order to lock it behind him, right? You know, if it's a deadbolt, obviously not. But I mean, what door doesn't have a lock in the doorknob, even if there is a deadbolt with it? Am I thinking wrong, guys? Um, you know, and I agree with you, Scranton, that I think that he says in a later video, I think that I'm not going to tell you if there's cameras inside my home, which made me wonder, well, why won't you tell me if you don't have any? You know, so, um, you know, were they turned off? You know, I don't know. Continue on.
In the house that he could have gone out, where he could have locked
From the
on his
outside.
own or from the outside. And the one, he wouldn't have gone out because of how much noise it makes.
yeah.
Everybody would have, and plus it would have been seen on camera. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, that it
Yeah.
would have been seen on camera. So by suspicion or reasonable elimination of all these doors, it's front door.
Okay. And there was no windows unlocked or anything like that y'all can tell or could tell. I'm sure they looked at all that.
Yeah, with
Yes,
the
yeah,
screens intact and things like that.
yeah. Nothing exterior of the building of our house has been altered. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why it was like, huh? Not only that, but for him to go out the window, so to speak, he would have landed in the flower bed and, barefooted. Yeah, we'd have heard something because he had landed on it and screamed.
Yeah. 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 All right. So let me get these people. I know they're itching for some hard
That's fine.
questions.
That's a good point, Scranton. Not only that, he just said on here that if he would have went out that one door, he would have been seen on camera. Was that on camera inside the house? Because hey, if he would have went out that front door, he would have been seen on the Ring cameras from across the street. And so we know he didn't because he wasn't seen on it. So things that he's saying does not make any sense whatsoever.
And I've been all right. So let's see. I know that girl has been wanting to ask like what he had on. I don't think Katie heard me a while ago, but like when y'all were out to eat Sunday, like what he had on that day, like when he went out to eat.
His
And
tennis,
let's go ahead.
his tennis shoes, jeans, and a black T-shirt with Grogu on the front.
Okay. And so, and then he changed before he went to bed into the black
sweatpants with the white stripes down the side, a long sleeve black shirt.
Okay. And that, I think,
was originally listed on the missing poster as a sweatshirt, and everybody mistaken it for a hoodie. And even Seth said himself that we both were trying to get that corrected because when they said sweatshirt, everybody assumed it meant hoodie, not long sleeve black shirt.
Mm-hmm. And I, because and I'll have to say, because it did not have stripes on it, it was black sweatpants. It did not say the white stripes on it, so that was a big one for me. That was a huge.
And then another thing, they're not sweatpants. So some of these young cats out there probably don't understand where I'm fixing to go with this. But us older folks, go back and think of the 1980s Adidas pants, where you had the white stripes down the side, almost like a tearaway style pants.
Yeah.
That is what the pants were. They weren't sweatpants.
I know what you're talking about. Exactly.
That's why I'm like, older folks will know. These younger kids, I don't know if they'll know or not.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I just call them sweatpants, but.
Well, there's the difference.
Okay, are you ready? Well, let me get some of their questions, and then I'll ask you a really hard, I think it's a hard question. I might put you on the spot, but.
Nah, you're fine.
Okay. All right, let's ask theirs first, because I don't want you to go, oh, I'm over here.
No. I gave you my word, and I told you I'll stick to my word.
Yeah, can I ask? Then I'll ask you now before I go to theirs, before I forget.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
What in the world is this on your arm on day 8, the interview? It's a scratch or a bite mark?
Left arm or right arm?
Oh, I don't know. It's the one where you were in the green shirt. And I think it was the right arm.
So right arm slightly above the elbow. I'm guessing.
I think it was right below, if I'm not mistaken.
So I've got 2 spots on one on my hand, and I got one on closer to my elbow. They're 2 spots. We have little Morkies, and we have one that's very playful. We have one that's not so playful. And I like to roughhouse with my little Morkies, and I put my hand down, and they chase it around, and I don't stop, and I let them nibble, and I've been dumb enough, and I've gotten scratched by the bigger one.
They got their claws clipped and not grinded, so they're rough right now.
Yeah, but I thought you hadn't been home for almost a month, or all month. I thought it looked like fresh scratch. I'm just saying.
when I'm in a green shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, she was smart there. Oh, but you hadn't been home for a month. How did you get the scratch? I love it.
You were talking to Fox 17.
Okay, Fox 17. I had already been home. So I got home February 26th. That can be released because that's when I came home.
Yeah, you're saying it was a new scratch then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was like, no, I came home February 26th. We did the interview, and those were scratches that are fresh.
Okay.
The day I came home, I was actually still wearing my work clothes.
Okay, so y'all, he's saying that is a fresh scratch. So I'll say it now. I have also asked about that picture. So that is a fresh after he got home from his little dogs.
And believe it or not, that is the first time I've heard that question. So thank you. I had not heard that before.
Yeah. So I asked that. So if you see that picture out again that I asked, that's just from where I asked it, I believe today. And I asked it yesterday.
And I believe I was wearing like, it's like a mint colored button up shirt, I think.
You were?
Yep. There you go.
Yep. Absolutely. So that's where that come from. I knew I was going to stump you with one question.
Pretty close. I was like, wait, huh?
Yep. You thought they all been asked, didn't you?
Yeah, just about. I mean, I've told everybody on Facebook, and I said, look, everybody's been nasty and all this, and like, look, I got no problem. I'll answer your questions. Just fire them away. And I have asked, like, keep in mind, there's like 3 of us and thousands of y'all, so we're trying to get to them. But
yeah. So, so let's see.
give me a good one.
I'm gonna try to find a great one. Did you ever use a belt on him?
Have I ever used a belt on Sebastian? Yes.
Okay.
Outside of his clothes, on his buttocks.
Okay. Please call DV when Sebastian home. Okay. Have you ever had domestic violence called on you when Sebastian was there?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I actually don't have any domestic violence in my history, period.
Okay. He says he's never had domestic violence, y'all. Okay. Now here's one. Let's see. Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Let's see. Okay. With Sebastian's autism, does he have a violent outburst? If so, what typically triggers the outburst?
I wish I could show y'all this in person. All right. Does he have, when he was younger, he probably had some pretty nasty ones. As he's gotten older, between his mama, me, and his dad, and other family members, trying to get him to, like, look, you need to focus on this. Stop doing, ball your fist up, put them down to your side, like in a very aggressive manner, like you're pushing down, and stomp with one foot. Okay? Mm-hmm. He gets like that when he's throwing his tantrums. And then he brings his hands up in like the military knife hand is what they call it. All 4 fingers and thumbs pointing outward.
Yeah.
And he's like moving his hands up and down, kind of like he's making a point, kind of. That's to the extent of his violent outbreak. But other than that, no.
Yeah. All right. Justin said he wants to understand this. He said, am I understanding this? You hit him with a belt because he didn't have a belt.
No.
Okay.
No. So the question about hitting him on the outside of his clothes, on his butt with a belt, that was something that he got in trouble for because he lied to us and he got 1 lick.
Okay. Let's see. How is it possible, do you think, that Katie, and I'm just asking now, how do you think it's possible that Katie and Sebastian, and Katie, and I can ask you too, you got a voice. Can I ask you why Chris is always speaking for you? I'm just wondering. Why is Chris always speaking for you?
Fire away, babe. Go ahead.
If you're not there, Chris, hold on. If you're not there, people want to know this. If you're not there, how can you answer all the questions?
So, if you notice, there's certain questions that you're asking I'm not saying anything about.
I know.
So as soon as you start talking about Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. So
I don't say nothing. Saturday, I don't say nothing. But anything after that, from the 6th, from midnight to 6.
Okay.
Being on the phone with her prior to, yeah. I can answer those questions. Okay. And just so I've told somebody this before. My wife has popped off to somebody on Facebook about it. As nasty as some folks have been, my job as a husband is to protect my wife, my kids at all costs. and I will stand in front of them, beside them, wherever they want to be, and I take all the hard hits. I'm tired of people dragging her through the mud. I'm tired of seeing the stuff that they say about her. Say it to me. I'm okay with it. Say it to me. Leave them alone. Be nice, be respectful, be courteous, and think about a woman whose heart's broken because her son is missing. If everybody would just take a step back for 1 second, go look at your kids and realize you got a kid. Your kid's at your house right now that you can walk up to. They may be in the bed sleeping, but you can walk up to them, give them big old hugs and kisses, tell them good night, and enjoy the moments. Right now, there's 3 parents in this world. Well, more than 3, but right now for this situation, there's 3 parents that cannot do that. So forgive me for standing up and being my wife's rock and foundation, because that's what a marriage is. That's my job.
Okay.
But we do love all of y'all. Doesn't matter. We still love you.
Wow.
Baby, if you want to answer, go for it.
No, I don't understand why it's a problem that my husband helps talk. I mean, I get that y'all want to hear my voice more, but honestly, half the time it's because I'm crying or I'm honestly, I don't have words to explain what I am anymore.
It's okay. I just wondered. A lot of people was asking that. I'm sorry, I was trying to read some of this. A lot of people was asking that, and just might as well ask it.
No, and we appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. Like we said, thank you.
Okay. So, I get what he's saying about being there for his wife. But if you think back to those first videos, especially that very first one, he didn't put his arm around her. He didn't, she was kind of looking at him because she was speechless at one point, and it took him a while to even talk for her. So all of a sudden now, saying that he's her rock, he's her support, that's his job, okay, I guess. I don't know. These two are very different, very, very different. And it's really hard to believe everything they're saying when he's been caught in some lies. Okay? I mean, it's really difficult. And Robin says, my opinion, CP, his mom, Terry Bowersock's sister's friend, and KP know where Sebastian is. Somebody knows, right? Somebody knows. And at some point, it's got to come out, you would think. Yeah, and Scranton says it also keeps her in check, and him talking over her keeps her from saying anything he don't want her to. Just my opinion. I agree with you, Scranton. So, yeah, I think that there's a lot they're not saying. We have questions, but they're not going to tell us. I don't honestly know why they did any of these interviews, to be honest with you, other than the fact that they were upset because bad things were being said about them. That's the only reason I can think of. They were hoping to dispel that, but it only made it worse because because as Chris likes to say, he's brash and respectful, but he can't be brash. I'm going to stand on that. He can't be brash and respectful. Can't do both at the same time. So I'm going to end it, I think, for tonight. This is going to be another long interview that is going to take several shots at it. And so I think, we've got at least a couple more videos yet that we'll be doing on this, because I don't like to, go for too much longer than an hour. When I'm watching videos, I don't like to, I have to sit for longer than an hour. And so I'm trying to keep all my subscribers in mind, And yeah, Scranton said it backfired. People think even worse about them. Yeah, it did backfire big time. And Robin, they have to get caught in order to sit behind bars. That's right. There has to be evidence. I go back to the flashlight video. Something happened that night. And the thump. I think those two together are where it's going to lead to. And then who knows if they dumped him in Oregon, or just where they went. I heard that, didn't the Bauer Sox, did they drive to Seattle and then take a private plane to Alaska? I mean, right there, Oregon's not far from Seattle. So, I don't know. But that pond area, that's huge, beautiful area. And I mean, he could be there, but then again, he could be near Westmoreland. He could be still near Hendersonville. We've heard it before. We've seen it before, where law enforcement has done sweeping searches and yet missed it right in their backyard, right? So, it's possible. He could be anywhere, and somebody has to say something. Somebody knows something and they need to say something. And whoever is putting the fear of God into people, that's got to stop. I can tell you, if I knew something, I don't care who was trying to threaten me, I'd be going to the FBI. Because at this point, honestly, I don't trust Sumner County. As far as their investigation techniques, I'm not saying that there's corruption. I don't know. I've seen it before in small towns. But I will say, when I lived in Portland, I talked about it before. I had a stepson who ran away, and my husband and I called them right away. They were very nice. They came over immediately. They were great, they were awesome. So I didn't have any problem with them. But he ran away because he was trouble, not because, he literally did ran away and we knew it, but that was a whole different story. And still, Sumner County was very nice. But that doesn't mean that they know what they're doing necessarily, right? All right, so that's going to be it for tonight, guys. Don't forget, light it up green for Sebastian. Put his name, his face out anywhere that you can. Put the Amber Alert out, that one, or the $125,000 reward one out, whatever, it doesn't matter. His picture, on your Facebook every day, light it up green, do whatever you can, because we need to have some sort of closure on this. We need to hit the right person that knows something, right? All right. Well, we will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.